Live from the Mighty Veedverks Airship, I'm Travis Lippert, CEO of Verks Unlimited Limited, better known as Veedverks.
And I'm Julie Richardson, Director of Commercialization and Promotions. And today we have with us Eddie Jackson. Thank you so much for joining us. We're super excited to have you on. I know we've been talking about you coming on for about a month now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
This is going to be a special episode.
Yes, it is. I want to remind everybody, and I'm going to do it now, that if you get alerts for us, when you share it as a watch party. Because what that does for us is that alerts your friends that you're watching this, and you can interact with us, and it goes out to more people. So I'm going to start this, and I hope you do too, because it'll sure help us get our shows out there.
We're going to be at the Oklahoma Cannabis Expo, October 18th through 20th.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be a really cool expo. There are a ton of people going to it. Stacy Lynn from Cannability, Anne-Marie Doyle from Nuvolution, Danielle Cerruti d'Espinal, I'm sorry, Daniel, from Canna Latino, Hunter Garth, Bob Esquino from Medically Correct, better known as Incredibles.
Yeah.
Amy Dawn Berlin Hilterbrand, who is running this, who started American Medical Refugees, who started Talk to the 6630507 Hand. She's putting this conference on. Ton of people there, include also Dre Gaines, who I'm playing in the background.
I think we need to travel together. That would be so fun.
Dre Gaines will be there.
Road trip.
Hip hop artist, Canna Fam. He has been active in the industry down there since State Question 788. So
yeah.
We'll all be there. It's going to be cool. So check out the Oklahoma Cannabis Expo.
Right. And then on the 24th of this month, we have Healthy Denver. We'll be there with all of our products. We'll be there to take pictures, interact, ask questions, participate in all the fun. There's something for, the whole family. It isn't just a cannabis event. So we're the CBD company there. So, good deal. So let's talk about you.
Yes. I'm Eddie Jackson.
Scoot up.
I'm the chief chemist for a company called E2 Enterprises out of Pueblo, Colorado. We are a full-service CO2 extraction laboratory for industrial hemp. We used to own an edible company here in Colorado and got out of that side of things and moved into the hemp side of things. It was a little bit more lenient on what we can do. A little less regulation at the time than we were getting into hemp, of course, and now it's changing drastically as the FDA gets more involved. Yeah. But it's been a wonderful ride. It's been years of enjoyment in the industry as it grows, as it changes, the headaches and the growing pains that have come with it. It has been an ever-changing industry and will be for the next probably decade as we still adjust and make things happen. So.
Well, it's so exciting. And there's so many interesting things happening and new discoveries and a new product and innovative people coming on board, and they keep throwing these regulations at us trying to discourage us, and it's just, there's no way.
No, it's really difficult, especially difficult for smaller companies and things like that to actually survive. For the individual who's more the patient advocate than the entrepreneur who's watching every dime of a business per se, who wants to help an individual, it's harder for that individual now to maintain that business. And some of these individuals have brick and mortars. They're not just online. They're not just selling to their friends. These are legitimate businesses that are licensed and things like that in their local communities. Some of the new regulations may be quite detrimental to them. And it's individuals like myself that are trying to help them navigate these new things, to learn those adjustments and learn to be able to say, okay, hey, I can make this happen. This is still feasible for me.
Right.
So.
Well, there's so many companies that have put everything into what they have. They have investors, they've mortgaged their homes, and the FDA is standing there going, oh, well, we may say your business can't exist. Or another big concern is there'll be a over-the-counter and a pharmaceutical, on how much the milk, that's going to put a lot of companies in harm as well.
That's correct, and there's a lot of misrepresentation that's occurring on the market too, from advertising or medical claims and that sort of thing, that's getting in trouble with not only the federal government, but it's putting a lot of questions about product reliability into the minds of consumers. One of the things I spoke to individuals about, I want to make sure that we touch bases, is the nanoparticulation, these nanoparticles. What is this? What exactly is that? That's one thing when you don't realize that simple advertising tools such as that can put a smaller company out of business because, well, you don't use nanoparticles. Well, I'm not going to purchase you. When the consumer really doesn't know what that is. It's just another
nice
keyword. Yes, correct. Where there are a lot of medical benefits to that, and it is used widely in medicine, and it's used widely in everything. Scratch-resistant coatings for your lenses and things like that. So there's oils in your vehicle. So there's a lot of things that it's used for. But when we're talking about medicines, there's very specific reasons it's used. And are these companies actually using it in the proper way? Is it what it is? And when we're talking about companies surviving, regulations changing, it's as simple as, is the FDA going to also state, okay, well, you can't say that unless you've proven that your products have done this. Is it directed properly? Are you using that process properly in your formulations and when you're making your oils or your isolates and that sort of thing? Are you being honest?
Right.
Let's be. Everybody's faking it till they make it. You can see 1,000 milligrams. Well, is that 1,000 milligrams of weight, or is that 1,000 milligrams of CBD? Okay, well, that's one regulation. Now the FDA is stating, well, they may just go ahead and cut out foodstuffs altogether. That could destroy a company that's, hey, I'm a honey manufacturer. I'm a beekeeper. I'm a local beekeeper in Colorado. I'm going to fuse it with CBD because that's the thing. Well, no, you can't do that anymore. It can be really bad. This is a situation that can turn really rough. So yeah, there's two major players in this now. It's the FDA, that's what their decision is on foodstuffs and dietary supplements, and are these advertising tactics being used going to be curbed? Are we going to put a leash
Where are they
around
going to draw the line? And also, how much time will it take for them to do it?
Correct.
Because we're in a period of arbitrage.
Yes.
We're in a period of arbitrage where we know it's coming. We don't know exactly what it's going to be. We know it's going to be more severe than it is currently. But in the meantime, there's a lot of stuff that, why quit making it?
Correct. Yeah. Why quit making it? But in the same aspect, making sure that you're, as a business and as an entity, that you're thinking ahead. Okay, am I going to go ahead and develop that next product that is a foodstuff, or am I going to hold off on that until next year? Am I going to put that on the back burner and shift gears to another product line?
Yep.
Well, they're seeing who can wait it out.
Correct. Absolutely. And it's making sure that, again, we go back to honesty with the consumer. That is what, as advocates, we are huge advocates in our company. That's what I strive for. When we were lab owners, I want to make sure we provide a product that they can afford. We wanted to try breaking the market and go as low as we possibly could. So that's what we're doing as a company. And we white label and private label for about 12 brands throughout the country. So, and these are companies that have all different avenues and what they want to focus on and where they're advertising and that sort of thing. So, and we want to make sure that we provide a great product for them, for the consumer. The consumer knows what they're going to get. Every time they get a bottle of any product that we produce, they know it's exactly what it states on the bottle.
So your core business is white labeling.
Correct. That's what, most of our business is just white labeling and developing products for current white label companies. So if you already have your white label company and, hey, I want to make this, but you don't know those steps to take. You just, you don't want to, just call us. Just simply call us and say, hey, this is my idea.
My idea is I want to make a CBD toothpaste.
Absolutely. I think that's a completely doable project. And there's a lot of avenues for that. There's a lot of products that are being made that are very target specific from uses of carbon and that sort of thing. So the natural aspects of it. So you've got a wide product range of that again, that falls under topical use from what I understand. I don't know. I'd have to, again, do a little more research in regards to toothpaste and what the FDA classifies that as. But I think you're safe in regards to making a product like that, as opposed to making a dog treat or making, a foodstuff. Oh, well, I'm going to start making breads and making fresh baked breads every morning so people can come into a bakery, a CBD bakery. Well, hey, let's hold off on that idea.
Right.
Just not saying that's not going to happen or that it is going to happen, but just be patient at this point, because you can put a lot of time and energy in something that's just not going to occur. And that's something they can call us to. Hey, what about this idea? What obstacles am I going to hit with this project? And I'll be honest with you. Absolutely. And if our lab can make it for you, awesome. If we can't, then I'm going to put you in contact with the proper company that's actually licensed to do so. And again, licensed to do so. That's our biggest issue.
So for this toothpaste, like how many would we have to order?
So that's great about our lab is we don't charge any processing fees or development fees unless it gets extensive. So you want to do a toothpaste, yes, I'm going to have to charge you some development fees on the paste itself.
Yeah, the paste itself
but
is the...
putting mint in this one and spearmint in that one, there's no formulation fees for those. So if an individual comes to us and says, hey, well, I've already got my toothpaste. I just want you to finish putting it in a packaging. Chances are I'm never, ever going to charge you for formulation of that sort of project. You're going to have a little bit upfront higher costs, of course, because we don't do any minimums. You can order 20 from me. But your cost on your packaging is going to be higher because I'm only going to be ordering 25, 30 of them.
Yep.
I'm not going to order a lot. If you're not committing, neither am I from a lab aspect. So that's something that you can do a trial run. You can say, okay, well, give me a trial run. Let's get this started and let me see where we go. That's something I can do the sealing. We can do everything in our lab.
Do you have a tube filler?
We can fill those and seal them in our lab and stuff like that. So you're good to go in that aspect. So get them and try them and do your... tests at home and stuff like that.
That is so exciting.
Oh my
goodness. Let's do toothpaste.
Okay.
But this is what I enjoy.
Okay.
I'm a natural
For me, as a
toothpaste connoisseur. So
this is awesome. This is what I enjoy. It's like somebody who has an idea in their hand. Like, okay, I want to make this happen.
Oh,
okay,
do
we
I
have
make it
several.
happen? So, okay. Wilfred brand CBD infused bubbles. Wilfred cannabis brand CBD infused bubbles. You blow them. I don't know if I still have that.
We had Wilfred the dog on.
See, there you go. Yeah.
Remember?
Could you infuse CBD in bubbles?
I can infuse CBD in anything.
And I don't have to order 20,000 of them?
No.
Oh my goodness.
This is
now
huge.
it becomes fun.
All right, everybody.
Now, if you're calling me every week, like, I got a new idea. Okay, hold on a second. Wait. We gotta talk.
Okay, CBD
No, that's my
infused,
job. I have
CBD infused. Oh gosh, what peanut butter?
Oh, it's easy.
Okay.
Wilfred.
FDA
FDA food stuff.
What if it's for topical application?
See, there you go. Just how you market it. It's just wording.
Only for topical application. I'm telling you, Jason Gann. I'm telling you.
Well, see, and going to peanut butter, and you mentioned, it's easy because it's an oil.
Yeah.
That's what your thought process is going to be until 2 days later, and it's separated and it's all pulled up on top. You realize, what happened?
Yeah.
Even though oils are oils, they're not all the same. So your oil that you have to ensure that you have infused that and put it into your food stuff properly. And that goes back to the fact of nanoparticulation. Now, just putting in oil is not that, but when you nanoparticulize something, you either do it with a polymer or a liposome. A liposome uses a phospholipid. So it encapsulates it, and it has one end that attracts to oil, one end attracts to water. Well, now when you have that, you're more likely to have that become a homogeneous substance within your product, because it's going to attach, regardless, that molecule is going to want to attach to whatever's around it. So that ensures that every scoop that you take out is going to be great. Mm-hmm. You're not going to, when you open it up, the consumer's not looking at this, amber oil sitting on top or whatever, and you're having to stir it up, and you don't want that. You want to, again, make a great product. That's where our lab comes in.
So a polymer or a liposome, you said?
A polymer or a liposome.
Liposome, sorry.
Yep, correct. And then a liposome is just surrounding the molecule. Polymer is a naturally or artificially made molecule that surrounds it, that will go to a substance and attach to it and dissolve over it. As opposed to a polymer, or a phospholipid that is used in liposomes, it actually attaches to something. It's not, and it can attach to anything, whether it's an oil or water. So it's much easier to work with when you're talking about nanoparticulation.
What are examples of these?
So
of these polymers, like what's beta cyclodextrin?
So you're talking about a dextrin is actually going to be more of your polymer that's going to be put together for that. So natural ones are honey. Honey's a natural humectant and emulsification agent. So, and it will break that down simply to a rate of what they call nanoparticulation. A nanoparticulation is just a molecule that is smaller than 100 nanometers in any direction across. So it's just a very, very, very small molecule. That's all it means. There's no, and what you encapsulate that with is the target and where it goes to. So with that being said, now you can attach it with oils. And we said not all oils are the same. And we're not talking about vegetable oils and that sort of thing. We're talking about other types of oils that surround these. And they're going to go to a tissue, and it's going to attach to that tissue. Well, what you're going to want is, in regards to like medical imaging where nanoparticulation is used, I only want the image to show up in certain tissue. I only want it to show up in lung tissue. I don't want it to show up in the tissue around it. So you're going to encapsulate that in a specific molecule that only attaches to that lung tissue. So when you do that image, those radioactive imaging molecules that are in there now only show up in the lung tissue. It'll bypass all of the other organs. When we're talking about in medicines and things like that, whether it's nutrients or whether you're on an IV or something like that in the hospital, it's going to go through and it wraps. So when it goes through the kidneys, it's not actually going to get filtered. It's going to pass right through the kidneys and it's continue circulating in the bloodstream. So every time it passes through, you're going to be able to use more and more of that. Now what we're talking about there is a temporal isomerized molecule. So it's time released. It lasts longer in your body. Mm-hmm. As now you can encapsulate it also. That's every time it goes through, it's going to spread over the tissue and use as much of it as fast as it can on that one delivery. So it's going to pass through that membrane faster. So you're looking at a spatial particle that can actually go over a larger space. So whether it's time or it's spatial, now you're talking about, okay, well, which oils am I using? Which polymers am I using? So, okay, is this company really using the proper one that's going to pass through the blood-brain barrier? Mm-hmm. Or is it just whatever they want to use? And, well, yeah, I've nanoparticularized my cannabis or my CBD. Well, awesome, but is it really doing what you want it to do? Is it targeted like it's supposed to? Nanoparticulation is a targeted delivery method. That's all it is.
Well, it's a hot word. Go ahead.
What are the mechanics of it?
So the mechanics breaking it down
I've got
to the
cannabis
smallest.
is an input, and I have nano encapsulated cannabis products as the output. What's in the black box?
So all kinds of different methods. There are so many different ways to actually nanoparticularize your products. Most of those are all going to be protected rights in regards to what company uses what methods and that sort of thing. There's tons of ways to occur this.
What kind of equipment can you just nano encapsulize like a chemical with another chemical? Just like
correct.
And shake
absolutely.
it up. And boom,
it can
works.
be as simple as that. Or you can buy a $20,000 machine that actually separates the molecules and vibrates them apart and lets them squeeze back together. And when they squeeze back together, basically encapsulated.
Right.
ultrasonic cell disruptors.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it can get as complicated as you want, honestly. But we have to ask ourselves, as scientists, we have to ask ourselves, is the product I'm making working?
Yep.
Let's go back to the scientific method here. I mean, honestly, get rid of your egos and get rid of your profit margin, because when it really comes down to it, when it does break through, you're either going to be lost because you lied to everybody, or you're going to be honest and you're going to know what's going on, and you're going to tell people. I'm going to tell you right now that I don't claim it on any of our products we make, because I don't have the research done to tell you that it's going to pass through your blood-brain barrier faster. I don't have that ability to tell you that.
In theory.
Correct. In theory, yes. And that's what they're basing this advertising on. And some of them will state, it lasts longer in your bloodstream, right? Or faster acting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it depends on which encapsulation method they're using, on what they're wanting that molecule to do, how fast they want it to go in, or do they want it to stay in your bloodstream and use it more? Well, faster acting may not necessarily mean you're using as much of it. You take in 100 milligrams, you use 30 milligrams of it, as opposed to a longer acting, you may use 60 milligrams of it, but it may take you 4 hours to do so. So what's a target method? Well, let's let the FDA make their decision. Finally, make a decision, FDA. Please make a decision so we can, as scientists, we can get on with this.
Yeah.
Let us design these methods and get these things developed properly so we know.
Well,
I can tell you a capsule. Well, this is going to be longer. This is a time encapsulated CBD. Here, take this. It's going to last you 4 hours. Take this. It's going to be faster acting. You have anxiety. You want something that, hey, I can pop in my mouth, a gum or some sort that's going to release something instantaneously, get into the sublingual glands, absorb rapidly. There are molecules and processes you can make to make chemicals absorb into the sublingual glands very fast, within seconds. There's this technology out there, and I can tell you, I don't know of any labs that are doing this currently, or who have the science behind them and say, yeah, this university has backed me up, or this lab has peer reviewed my product. Mm-hmm. They're saying, hey, this is the science behind this. I'm using it in my lab. It should work. And yeah, that's part of the process. That's your theory. But now let's prove it.
Right.
We can't. There's no way for us to do those things. I can't go and say, hey, test this. No.
I think we're still at the phase in the industry where the problems are even more practical than that. They're not about, keeping it, like delivering it on a certain time schedule. They're just about keeping it in solution, keeping it from falling apart over time or from doing something,
yes,
that's just harms shelf stability.
Yes, and there's going to become a generalization that's going to be used in tinctures and capsules and that sort of thing, whether it's faster delivery or longer delivery. It's going to become universal eventually. It'll just become that way. Where the nanoparticulation is really going to take off is true research. It's lung cancers, it's skin cancers, it's breast cancers. Okay, can I target this molecule to go there?
Right.
Because we know that there's research out there that states cannabinoids can help kill cancer. It can cause apoptosis in the cell and kill the cell itself. But can we get that there? Can we get that medicine there?
Right.
Currently, you ingest an edible or smoke or whatever, however your delivery method is, and it's everywhere. We don't have the science that tells us, well, yeah, encapsulate it in this and it's going to go here. Encapsulate it in this and it's going to go there. Deliver it this way because delivering this way is not as proper. We have this research for tons of other medicines used in hospitals. When that you can't deliver. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm dead serious about How long have I been talking about toothpaste?
Well, just keep an eye out, because here in a couple of weeks they're going to have a little box and there's hey, we're trying this, and they'll review it.
There's so many. I love going to the natural food stores and seeing the selections of toothpaste. I got really excited about charcoal for a while until I realized you have to be very specific when you spit that out. Oh my goodness, what a mess. But the tea tree oil and the clove, and there's so many magical, wonderful essential oils that can go into a blend, and to look at it like, okay, what is it that's going to deliver this CBD? Is it going to be the tea tree oil? Is it going to be the clove? What would be the best, ratio for absorption? Travis has beautiful white teeth, but he also uses CBD on his toothpaste, and, so whitening, not just what is it doing for the gum health, which is huge in this country. There's so many people with different gum diseases and bacteria of the mouth and what have you. But the whitening, that is a whole other
I don't think
monstrosity.
CBD. There's no reason to think CBD
Wouldn't
whitens
the crystallized?
teeth. No,
wouldn't that,
I have.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't even think. I'm just saying that it'll.
Doesn't it exfoliate being
Not
in a
that I'm-
crystal
No.
form?
No, because the
doesn't.
crystal form of
It's-
CBD has
should
such
try
a
it.
low boiling point, so
We have
it's
CBD
actually
here.
melts down such a low rate. You can actually put CBD crystals in your hand, and your actually hand temperature will actually start to soften those crystals.
Really?
So your melting point of CBD crystals is very low, as opposed to a salt that is a very high melting point, and a very, very, 6 times what.
So
CBD crystals
in
are.
the skincare,
60 is it
At least
66 degrees Celsius is about where it always seems like we can turn crystal into a liquid. That's when it all just changes.
Completely correct. Yes. Yeah. That's your complete where the actual molecule just starts. The crystal structure actually just starts to break apart.
So you're saying in your hand, like the cosmetic companies that are wanting to put CBD in and going, it's in there as part of the exfoliation process.
What?
It wouldn't actually be. I know, not any ones that we carry, but it's in the mask and the scrubs.
Now, see what they're now if they're claiming that the CBD is an exfoliant, then that's just you would have to. We've
That
all
doesn't even make
you've all
sense.
touched isolate. It's a powder. It's even a crystallized form of CBD that's a larger crystal can crush in your hand. It's not a hard crystallized form. It's not a strong bond.
Here's a little rock of. That's pretty.
Yeah. Now this one has been fully processed.
It's been all sorts of jacked with. There's.
So, but as a powdered form, once it's actually the crystals are very soft. When we grow them, they'll just grow on the glass in the lab, and you can crush them with your finger.
So that's just another hype that's out there, and
it may be other things in their products that are doing the exfoliation. We actually, our product line, we actually have a sugar scrub. And
I think
enriched.
that's where they're thinking they're doing that.
Maybe
correct.
it's just CBD enriched. Well, yeah, CBD enriched sugar scrub.
Yes, because
But
technically when you're scrubbing,
CBD itself being the exfoliant just doesn't.
no,
I don't even.
no, as
That's
a
not-
CBD itself, I think it's exfoliant. No, but when you're using a sugar scrub, most people don't understand that. Okay, you're scrubbing your hands. It's 30 seconds, a minute. It's a bit of time. You're scrubbing little pieces and rough parts on your hands and feet. Well, you're absorbing a lot of those oils and those essential oils and things that we put in there. So it's getting into the skin during that time frame. A lot of the consumers say, well, you just wash that stuff off. Well, yes, you wash it off after the fact. It's not a lotion. You're not washing your hands for 10 seconds and then that's it. And rubbing them dry. You pat them dry. It's still a little fresh, but most people don't get that aspect of it. But if they're saying that the CBD itself is, you'd have to put a lot of those crystals in to make it worth it. You'd have to put a lot of rock salt of CBD in there. And that's a lot of
that doesn't make any sense
it
at all.
doesn't.
No,
It,
just
not
Nobody
even
would do that.
as a fine facial scrub. If it's not.
No.
Now we know that it's wonderful for the skin, but I don't see how that could be a delivery.
No, it's more of the anti-inflammatory properties and that sort of thing of your CBD that helps with the skin. It lessens the redness, lessens the inflammation that's on the skin, which again helps lower wrinkles, helps your skin bounce back and things like that.
Collagen production, all of that.
Correct. We have a full line of that. We have a collagen cream and a night cream and a moisturizing cream. So these are things that you can use that are for that. And again, once we get hemp back into our lives as a world, you're not going to need to do large doses of a tincture daily because you're going to have it throughout your life. You're going to have it throughout the day. You're going to have it in all of your products. It's going to be back in our lives. the way it should have been.
Right. And you are very right about that. One of the things you notice at NOCO, if you talk to the farmers, they have it, they eat it, they put the hemp seeds. It's every part of their life. And they're not, I'm asking them, here, would you like to try this on your arthritis? They don't hurt. They feel better.
Yes, absolutely. And I have a theory in regards to a lot of conditional issues that are going on in the world today in regards to spectrum disorders and things like that have become more prevalent. And we a lot of conditional disorders like that are brought about through generations. It takes about 2 generations for things like that to really start to develop within a colony of individuals. And thinking about that, hemp was taken away from us, cannabis was taken away from us late 30s, early 40s. Well, that's your second generation now that we're looking at that these things are starting to come more about. If we have an endocannabinoid system in our body and it has been removed from us and we are now deficient and we are having endocannabinoid deficiencies, when we look at vitamin deficiencies in certain aspects can have broad impacts in the body. And that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing this endocannabinoid deficiency, and this phytocannabinoid deficiency says, okay, we don't have this in this anymore. So I'm going to start having all these issues coming about, and now humans are having a lot more prevalent things that cannabis alleviates. Mm-hmm. Why? Well, it's because you took it away from us.
Right.
You did something that shouldn't have been done, and we can go back and be angry about it, but they didn't know any better. They didn't know any better in regards to the endocannabinoid system. They weren't as versed in regards to medically what we had inside of us to the extent we know today. And we've only scratched the surface. I mean, there's a lot of cannabinoids out there that we have not been able to isolate and have a study about that one cannabinoid. Where does it go? When I give you this one cannabinoid, where does it go?
Like what?
Oh, CBG.
Yeah.
I'm a Crohn's patient, so CBG is very important to gut health.
Mm-hmm.
So in regards to that, I want to know. Why? As a scientist, I want to know. Tell me why CBG and where it's going. So let's introduce it into the body as an isolated molecule, find out where it goes. And of course, just like with calcium, you can introduce calcium to the body, but it's not going to go where it's supposed to go until you couple it with vitamin D. Vitamin D helps your body assimilate that calcium, then it can be delivered where it's supposed to go. Okay, what delivery methods do we need? Do we need this full entourage effect, or are there only a few things that we need? Wait, we have no clue. No clue. And anyone out there that says that we know this and we know that, no, we don't. We've only scratched the surface, and there's a lot of studies that have been done over the past couple of years, and it's just now this year and next year that those are being released. Mm-hmm. A couple of years ago, they allowed the PTSD studies and things like that, Parkinson's studies, to be officially done through University of Arizona and Colorado universities. And those studies are just finished. They're being peer reviewed. And they're going to be released. That's a process. It takes about 10 years for scientific research to really come to the forefront. Most people don't understand that. Medicine is a practice, not a science.
Yeah.
But the people who are sick don't have time for that.
They don't.
Right.
Nobody, and we know that cannabis is not going to kill you.
Correct.
And we know that it's non-addictive. It's not like being on these other drugs that they prescribe.
Correct.
We know that it is helping people with just a wide variety of stuff. That just this idiopathic disease that MS. It helps with symptoms of that haven't been addressed before sometimes. Cerebral palsy, just weird things. And it's going to take forever for them to get all of this put together into pharmaceuticals that they can eventually write a drug commercial for, a drug company commercial for it. Like I've got to give it to Pfizer. They've kind of won me over with these slow turkey commercials. Slow turkey, but I think they should have called it nightmare turkey.
Yeah.
Nightmare turkey.
For Chantix.
Chantix.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
Quit smoking slow turkey. But I'm telling you what, that's a turkey who has nightmares about the most disgusting stuff. they're not showing him asleep. It's a nightmare pill.
Or
they don't
erratic
say
behavior.
nightmares. They say, and all of these drugs that say may cause suicidal thoughts or ideations.
Yeah.
Why does not one of these pills say, or homicidal thoughts or ideations? Is there something unique about these drugs that they can cause this break in reality that makes otherwise normal people, do suicidal things?
Absolutely.
Like it's only directed toward me, this whatever's wrong with them. How is it possible all these different drugs could have suicidal thoughts and not homicidal thoughts? Like, why isn't there talk about research?
Self-infliction, not
how long is it going to take?
Others. Yeah.
How long is it that it's not enough research on it? And is it that why they don't talk about that?
Because I mean, with everything that's going on right now, it's definitely making a connection. You know?
I think it's part of it becomes complacency from the scientific standpoint in the community within it. Okay, well, they've been sitting on this project. They've been doing this project for 6 years, 8 years. Well, I'm going to pass it off to this individual. Now this team's taking it over and continuing the research. And next thing you know, 20 years later, 25 years later, they're just... no breakthroughs have occurred, so they just stop the research. There's no... until someone else comes about. And it's usually a university student that has seen some research, says, oh, this is stopped. I'm going to... has a new birth of information that comes about. And that's where some of the breakthroughs will occur. But with cannabis and with hemp, the biggest hurdle we're going to have once legalization occurs are egos. Every scientist on the planet is going to want to put their name on, well, my name was the first one to do this. Mine was the first to do this. Well, you know what? I don't care. I don't care who you are. Most of the time that drug manufacturers or whoever develop a drug, nobody knows your name anyway. That's just for you to have so you can look at that every once in a while when you Google yourself. Yeah. Let's be honest. I mean, that's all it is. One of the reasons we don't have standardized testing for cannabis and things like that nationwide. Why are every other state testing in their lab for their cannabinoid profiles differently? Well, it's because this chemist has their process and they have their process, and they can't agree, because as soon as one person says, yes, this is how we're going to do it, well, their name goes down in the history books. Well, I don't agree with you, so it won't be approved. Well, I don't agree with you, so that's once that goes away and standardized processes occur, which is what one of the things the FDA is trying to do now is standardize processes. That's their fear with the foodstuffs. They say, okay, well, all these foodstuffs are coming about. People putting in it everything. They're like, okay, we don't even know what this long-term effect is going to be. Rightly so. To an extent. Now, you can say rightly so, but don't drag it out for another year.
Right.
Say, okay, we're going to hold this until further research. Tell us what the research is that you need and let us do it. That way we can give it back to you and we can be done with this. But don't sit there and drag it out. Don't do this bureaucratic red tape,
Try to figure out how to control it.
No, let's not do that. Let's just tell us what you need. Let us do it and give you those results. Because we know what the results will be. Everyone who's in this industry knows. And that's what they're afraid of too. So they want to drag it out as long as they possibly can, and then they're going to say, okay, well, in my opinion, I think they're going to put a big halt on foodstuffs. Dietary supplements and things like that may be able to skirt through and stay in a gray area. Topicals, of course, will be okay. But that'll change fast. And again, there's going to be a lot of fear, and there's going to be a lot of fear-mongering going on. There's going to be a lot of hate towards the FDA and the government agencies for doing this.
Well, yeah. Be
patient. I remember not too long ago that I was on a dirt road in Georgia smoking, and, so I'm happy to be where we are today. And some other individuals that haven't gone through what older individuals have, they think, well, this is my right. Yes, it is your right, but we're not there yet. Let's be patient. You're talking to a whole nother generation that's in charge that doesn't want us to have this. We have to convince them to let us have this. And that's an okay process to have to go through. It's the right, when you approach it the right way.
Right.
But again, you have to stand your ground. Enough enough is enough, FDA. You've been doing this for how long? 2 years almost?
Well,
Enough's
and
enough.
they've been
Let's make a
studying
decision.
it for generations.
Correct.
And then we have all of the research out of Israel and Europe.
Absolutely.
I'm completely okay with Israel and Europe studying it.
Absolutely.
What they've done with like food additives like dyes and taking it out of food is, I wish we were there as a country, because there's when you look at ADD and other type of issues in that source, and then also see when food companies started introducing red dyes, blue dyes, there's a correlation there.
Correct. And people understanding that this process can be expedited by grassroots movements. People need to understand that we have the power in this country. We truly do. And most people don't understand that. We did in Colorado. We changed the law. It's in our Constitution. It's my constitutional right to grow cannabis in my home. You cannot take that away from me. That is my constitutional right in this state. We changed the law. It is possible, but it starts with states. It starts with your local community. It starts with getting to know your local municipalities that are in your area. You know, hey, the officer that comes through and patrols your area. If you're a business owner, why wouldn't you want to know them? You know, it's as a brick and mortar, we're going to be opening up a location for CBD in Pueblo, but I want to know who my fire department officers are. I want to know who my police officers are. I want to know those individuals. I want to be involved in my community, because by doing so, those people will fight for me when it comes to city council. Because that fire chief that walked through my building, because I invited him there, not for inspection, but because I wanted you there. Well, he sees, oh, you said who about? Oh, he's a good guy. Because we know how much that matters. You can be a hardworking individual, but who you know when it comes to government policy, it goes a long way. That one individual saying, oh, well, they're good people. That's what you need. That's what we have to start. And once individuals understand that, we'll change the world. They won't hold a candle to us in Washington. Because, okay, fine, you don't want to do that? Well, I'm going to spread the grass everywhere else, and you won't have a chance. You're going to be standing on the only dirt pile. Stay there. So,
Do you think that 0 means 0.0? Or does it mean 0.00? Or does it mean 0.000?
So, as a scientist, 0 is 0.000000000. That I can. That's nothing.
How many
There's
was
nothing. That? You can go infinite on that.
Okay, so that's
0. There's nothing. There's 0 to me is 0.
0 is infinitely
Correct. Now I can sit there and
Small
tell you
number.
that our lotions that we make
yeah.
are 0 THC, because you can take it to a lab and it's not going to test.
How much THC for real though?
Probably it's not going to test in a lab test, but there is THC in here.
What?
and I
Whose
will
lab
not-
test though?
Exactly.
So I do want to
So-
talk about your lotions, definitely. First, I want to talk about our lotions. And this particular, let me switch to the correct camera.
Example.
So this bottle came, we made it, had it tested. It came back at 0.0% THC
Correct.
and 0.5% CBD, like perfect. So then we sent a bottle from this very lot to Utah, and they tested it, and it came back at 0.00065% THC.
And it was an isolate, 99.9% pure.
Huh.
So that makes sense. Because
Right.
you're taking that 0.001 is fractionated
I think-
down further because you only have a residual amount. But yes.
Yep. So it's expected results. Like they have machines that can test out
Oh, absolutely.
5 decimal places.
Correct.
And so our argument with NASCAR is that or is that not 0? Is 0.00065% 0?
So
Otherwise, if it's not, then I challenge you to test any one of those products in that major CBD company, Kroger's, sponsor of the 47.
correct. Oh yeah, they're all gonna at some level they will, unless the laboratory has eliminated that constituent to be testable by dilution. So you could take that and put it in a bottle twice as much, twice as big, the same amount, the 500 milligrams,
Yeah.
and it won't test. Because they test by volume.
Dude. Announcing Veedverks' new corporate massage size 1 gallon Amelia lotions.
So then
They have 500 milligrams of CBD in them.
and that is a 4-ounce bottle.
Yep.
So add 500 milligrams,
Yep.
250 milligrams in a 4-ounce bottle, and it doesn't test.
I bet that'll test. Well, I bet that'll come back at more than 0.0.
Oh, absolutely, 'cause we
we're
use
trying to
full
get
spectrum.
because you could be a NASCAR sponsor.
Good.
Like,
And
If you
we've
could-
had
you have
products that we've made that are sponsored UFC using isolates and that sort of thing. So we've had fully tested professional athletes that have used products that are developed or made in our lab. So this is it's okay in my opinion. And again, this is just my scientifically. Again, I stated scientifically 0 means 0 absolute. Yes, those will contain THC. Now, what the question is one, what does a state law state? And that's why we got to make sure, again, when we're talking about regulations, that yes, regulations are good, but come on, don't kill us here. It's like, don't put us at 1/1,000,000th of a percentage.
Right.
You know, put us at hundreds. Don't even put us at thousands. But
well, federal law puts us at tenths.
Correct.
0.3%.
Yeah. So, and we can go one more point below that, I would say, but you're talking about such a negligible amount that
0.30%.
what we have to look at from a regulatory standpoint is stating, okay, by having that percentage in there, what does it do? Does it have any effect with any other medications? Does it test for that individual as far as it having any absorption period? Because that may just be destroyed. By the time you absorb it, it could just be destroyed in the gut where you don't even have a chance to absorb any of that. So is the bioavailability there? If not, does that constitute 0? So there's a lot of 0 means a lot. So, but yes, absolutely. That's a very big gray area. Again, when we're talking about, okay, what is, I know companies that say, well, it's a full spectrum, 0 THC. No. Because even if you took that kilo of full spectrum oil and went and had THC removal done, there's still THC there. So your concentration level is either going to be so low that the consumer is going to have to drink a bottle of it to get any effect.
They talked about this a lot at the FDA hearing. Full spectrum, broad spectrum. Can you walk us through that a little bit? I'm
not a fan of broad spectrum. I'm not a fan of the term.
What does the term mean?
So isolate is isolate. It's the isolated form of CBD molecule. Full spectrum is a full hemp extract. It's extracted from the whole plant. They take the whole plant, you shuck it, you grind it, you run it through whatever extraction process you want. At the end, you get all the cannabinoids. Then at the end result, full spectrum is a full spectrum of all the cannabinoids in that specific plant. As long as it meets that requirement, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's ethanol. I don't care if it's CO2, hydrocarbon, butanes, or propane, any of those. I don't care what your extraction method is. If it yields a full spectrum oil that contains all the cannabinoids, then yes, you're going to have a full spectrum. Are all of those equal? Absolutely not. A hydrocarbon extraction is not going to be as full spectrum as a CO2. And the ethanol extraction is going to be full spectrum, but depending on the extraction method, it may contain a lot of extraneous material that you don't need, like chlorophyll and plant cellular material, that stuff that has no medicinal value.
It does make some people nauseous and sick.
Correct. And it depends on what you're using. CO2 has some very great benefits in regards to what it pulls out that no other extraction method does. So a lot of your flavonoids and that sort of thing that actually come out that help with anti-inflammatory properties are typically only retained through CO2 extraction. Ethanol can sometimes, depends on how it's purged, will destroy those. So all those canned flavins and things like that that are inside your plant that you really want for the anti-inflammatory properties, you're going to have a higher concentration of those in CO2 oil than in the other. So topical relief and things like that, and we're talking about fibromyalgia and a lot of those things, that's what you need. So you need those in there, and that's what gives CO2 oil that amber look, that reddish amber look. Flavonoids have a yellowish hue to them, so when they're in the final solution, that's why it looks that way. So, and then of course ethanol has a greenish, darker look. So, chlorophyll, that sort of thing. So, with those extraction methods, I don't care what it is. I don't care which method you use. The end result can be a full spectrum oil. Broad spectrum was a term that was developed for people who were using a distillate, in my opinion. Distillates do not contain a lot of the other cannabinoids. A distillate is not a full spectrum oil. It has been distilled. Through that distillation process, you've removed almost all your terpenes. You removed a lot of other processes. Granted, they usually reintroduce those terpenes, but if they haven't captured those properly, then they're having to use other terpenes and add to if they're doing, terpene additives or something. So broad spectrum, I'm not necessarily a fan of because I believe it was brought about to copycat off of the full spectrum aspect and that benefit. Because just because you say broad spectrum and it's distillate does not mean it contains a lot of cannabinoids. It can contain a lot of other materials and stuff like that that are viscous and oils and that sort of thing. So, but FDA coming in saying, hey, you won't be able to say those things. Broad spectrum is, if I'm not mistaken, was brought up by the FDA to actually be removed as a term to be used because it was so ambiguous. Full spectrum actually has to be reclassified into the extraction method. So CO2 extracted full spectrum, ethanol full extracted. So that you have to specify because that will tell you what's going to be in your final oil. So you can tell from your final product, oh, well, I've got an oil that's this, or I've got an oil that's that, or I've got a lotion that's this, made from this. Well, you can expect to know what's in the oil before you even add all your other lotion constituents and things like that to help it absorb and help with skin aspect and rashes and dry skins. But yeah, those are terms that people throw around. And I've seen people that I know the brand that use isolate and say, well, this is a full spectrum. I'm like, well, how's that full spectrum? Well, they use hemp seed oil in it and they call it full spectrum because
yeah.
Like, well, that's not what that's not what full spectrum is. So it's frustrating to the consumer. I mean, I can understand people are mad. You go online and you see 10,000 things, and then you say, okay, you see an advertisement of somebody, so you Google that, and then it brings up this, and then you're like, oh gosh, and I Google this, and it brings up this, and
they're very confused.
Yes, and there's no real resource. How do you know what resource to go to? How do you know to come to us?
Because I didn't know until today, but I'll tell you what.
Well, I mean, even as a brand, okay, well, you saw this feed, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to contact this company. Right. This guy seems to know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But I also have a brand. What makes you think that I'm not selling my brand? That I didn't do this whole thing so you would call and I'd sell you my brand and I had you on the phone. But that's the mindset. The consumer doesn't know that. Now, I'm not going to do that, of course. I'd rather talk to you about science and develop a product for you. That's
Toothpaste.
what I like. Yeah, see? Everything.
Have you heard that Monty Python bit about where a guy inherits a bunch of 6 miles of string, but due to poor planning, it's cut into 3-inch pieces, and it's like, I need that bit queued up. It's like they're water resistant. No, they're not. They're water absorbent. Mr. Somebody's super absorbent 3-inch string bits. Yeah. When all you got's a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Exactly.
But you've got a whole tool shed of toys and knowledge to throw at these problems.
Yeah, and even if I can't
super glad that I just met you today.
Yeah.
I can't believe the number of people who, if we get this video out properly, are going to want to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that, again, that we're not the type of company that's going to nickel and dime you or anything like that. I mean, yes, we do charge for our services and things like that, but it's very affordable to call us and get information, especially when you're stuck. Or especially when you have a project that you really want to do. And I mentioned to you, if you have a tincture and you just want to put a flavor in it, chances are I'm never ever going to charge you for that. I'm just going to do the formulation and send it to you. You know, it's something that's very simple. But if you want something
I swear this
like
is a real show,
toothpaste,
people.
yeah, toothpaste.
He's a real person.
Toothpaste is going to be fun. I enjoy that. We've made tattoo recovery creams. I mean, we've made a lot of stuff. We have a product now that we're getting ready to push for FDA approval and do a clinical trial for. So we're really excited about that. I can't say what it is just yet, but we're really excited for that one if we can get that to go through. That's what I enjoyed. As a chemist, I enjoy talking to people and making their dreams come true and saying, hey, this is what I want to do. All right, let's make it happen. Let's, give it to me. Allow me to birth something to give to you that you can put on the shelf and you can put your label on and you can be proud of. You can say, no, this is mine. I helped make this.
Right.
So... Well,
Chemists,
of course we do.
They make your dreams come true.
Yes, in a fun way.
You just made chemistry sound sexier than any. I mean,
well, I can tell you, I never used my degree. I graduated from college. I moved to Colorado literally weeks afterwards. After about a year, I quit my job. I became a mountain bike racer. I owned a mountain bike racing team. I had a son. I became a martial arts instructor. And it wasn't until right before we started the cannabis business that I really started to need to use cannabis for my Crohn's. It's like, I've got a degree in this. I can make edibles at home. So I started making edibles at home, and we were good at it. So let's start a business. And about a year later, we had a building. But no, I never really used it. I never saw that side of chemistry. I saw the bio. I was a biochemist. I saw the medical side of it. I didn't want to sit in a lab and turn a centrifuge with blood in it my whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be analyzing urine my whole life. That's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
And that's where I saw most chemists going, or working in an industrial lab making paints. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to help people, and this was it. This is a godsend to me as a patient helping me with my Crohn's, and I haven't had attacks. I haven't had a major attack in months, and it's been glorious, and I've been able to maintain this lifestyle without any medication for years. So it does help, and I'll be the first to tell you it's not a cure-all. It may not help you, but if it doesn't, let's find out why, and then let's put you on the right path. And again, I can reiterate over and over again, medicine is a practice. It is not a science. When you go get a medicine from your physician and it doesn't work the way you want it, tell them. Don't tell them to take you off of it. Tell them to change it. Work with them. Same thing when you're using CBD or cannabis for any conditional response. Anything, any condition that you're having. You want to have a response that's actually favorable to you. If you're not having it, talk to somebody. Bud tenders are not the individual to talk to. I love bud tenders to death, and they're some of the most knowledgeable individuals in regards to some things, but a dispensary is not a medical office. I mean, let's be honest. Talk to your physician. If you can't talk to your physician, call a cannabis physician. Look them up in your area. There's a lot of them out there that are cannabis friendly.
Right.
There's networks so you can find those individuals that are hidden in your area that you may not be legal in your state just yet. Find those individuals, talk to them, say, hey, I'm having this. Have them talk to you. And if you can't get that, then reach out to somebody like myself. I'm not a physician, but I do have a lot of experience in medicine, and I can help put you on the right path at least. And then you can talk to the professionals that are much more knowledgeable than myself.
I'm curious, there's with different people in different applications work, where as one, a tincture will work just fine, whereas somebody else, a transdermal patch, or maybe a combination.
Yes.
There's a lot of research going on in the diet industry with testing DNA to find out what diet works best for your system.
Correct.
If those two could be married to cannabis, where we would go with nanotechnology and, directed medical care for different types of illnesses and diseases.
Yeah, definitely. We can get rid of the idea of using nanotechnology in the everyday tincture and trying to get and I may upset a lot of individuals to see this. I just think it's a gimmick. I don't believe in using it as a marketing ploy for your product. I think that's That's extreme misuse of consumer trust. So stop with it at the moment until you can prove it. That's my thing. But use that for science. Use that for, once we start incorporating this into our everyday diet and everyday lives, then individuals are using in their lotions and they've got in the soap and whatever else they're using in their life. Put it back into our life. Like, this is our plant. Like, this is our plant. Like, give it back to us. We're supposed to have this. We have a system in our body that's meant to have this. Stop arguing over it. The argument's done in that aspect. Stop it. Because it's just misinformation and lies that you're spewing at that point. We need this back into our lives, and once we do, then we can develop and use the nanotechnology to actually, for what it's used for in medicine, for target-specific conditions. Let's get that lung cancer. Let's get that pancreatic cancer by sending those THC and cannabinoid molecules right to those cancer cells and those tumors. Let's destroy them. Let's destroy those cells. That's what we need to use that for. Stop with all the egos. Stop with all the bureaucratic crap. And let's focus on medicine in regards to that and getting it back into our everyday lives. Because once it's in our everyday lives, and the nanotechnology, the nanoparticulation of a tincture is not so important. You're consuming several grams of that a day in your diet.
We were trying to do, we were just experimenting, working on a product line. Our goal wasn't nano anything. It was simple. It was water solubility.
Correct.
And so, I don't even know. You said that nano is under 100 nanometers.
Correct.
But I don't think we were anywhere near that scale. We were just trying to make CBD stay suspended in water.
And so to make that super easy, and I don't mind telling people, you're going to find propylene glycols are great for that. And I'll go ahead and tell people out there now, stop the fear of propylene glycol. The first thing you're going to read is it's in antifreeze. Well, yes, but it's in watercraft antifreeze, not in automotive antifreeze. Watercraft antifreeze can be leaked into the water supply and it's safe. You can actually go and drink that pink antifreeze that's at the Walmart and you're not going to die. Yes, it's not going to taste great, but propylene glycol is safe to consume to a certain level. So if you're using a 30 milliliter tincture of propylene glycol solution every week, it's probably not the best way to go. You need to incorporate it in your diet in other ways. But propylene glycol is a water-soluble solution. You can put an oil right into propylene glycol, mix it up, and drop it in your water, and it'll dissolve right away. And propylene glycol is a nanoparticulation solution, so we can actually break those molecules apart so low that they do meet that criteria. So awesome, you do have that solution. It is safe for you. So I want to squash that misinformation that's going around. Oh, well, I'm never going to have that because it's an antifreeze. Yes, but let's clarify that. Second way, there's one really great one that we found. We didn't want to use propylene glycol in our products. And so if you have hemp oil at home or if you have an isolate at home, just mix it with honey. Honey is a natural humectant and emulsification agent. It'll mix with anything. Once you blend your cannabinoids with honey, you can drop it in anything you want. And it can go into a cold drink and it'll dissolve right away. It won't stick to the glass. It'll stay actually emulsified inside the honey itself, and the honey will actually dissolve to a rate that's extremely small. I don't know if it's quite that small to be considered a nanoparticle, and honey's great. I mean, who doesn't like honey? I mean,
everybody loves honey.
Yeah, get some local honey.
Yeah.
So,
if not for all the other wonderful benefits honey has.
Yes, absolutely. So,
well, let's
little tricks,
let's
little
show
things.
your products, because I want to make sure that we have give you a little shout out here.
Yeah.
Now, this is
so we've got so these are our lotions here. It's PinkLighthouse. PinkLighthouse.com is actually the brand. Anyone viewing, actually, we're going to have through the end of the month, we'll do 50% off anyone that goes in and puts in Veedverks.
Oh, cool.
So go to PinkLighthouse.com
and
put it in there. We've got all of our lotions are actually enriched with tons of vitamins. As you can see, they're enriched with vitamins A, B, C, E, K, and oleic acid to help with absorption.
Nice.
Help alleviate some of that skin tears, the skin roughness, the dryness, the itching, that sort of thing. And of course, enriched with CBD. Each one of those is 250 milligrams of CBD. But they come in scents: lemongrass, cucumber, tea tree, lavender rose. We have an active, which has a little bit of mentholatum in it, so it's actually more for that individual that doesn't mind that athletic smell. So who's out there and they've got a muscle ache. All of them are used for, again, we can't make any medical claims or anything like that, but you'll know a lot of the benefits from CBD. That lotion is a base lotion of CBD cream, and then we add those essential oils. So you can use lavender rose for the evening, help you relax a little bit. Morning, you're getting up, you want to invigorate yourself. You're going to put some of that lemongrass cucumber on, start your day.
Right.
You know, the tea tree, again, very invigorating, gives you more of that earthly scent. The massage oils and lotions. Massage oil uses caprylic triglycerides and capric triglycerides to help absorption and aid in absorption, but also has oils in it to improve glide properties. So if there's a professional massage therapist that's out there that wants to use that, they can actually use it. They can call us and say, hey, I want to put my brand on it. I want to infuse it with my scents and this. And then they're using it, and they've actually can brand something for their location. So if you do, you know, they have a salon or a spa or something like that, then they have the ability to create a whole line behind it.
Nice.
So, and then the lotion does have some of those similar glide properties, not as much, but more than moisturizing with a little bit of additional glide. So your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, you had a rough day out, and you want to rub them down a little more. Lotion's going to absorb it, then after 10, 15 seconds, you're going to get raw. Use the massage lotion, and it's actually going to last a little bit longer and provide a little more glide properties for a few minutes longer. And the oil's just great. It'll last quite a while. So, and then we make a whole line of products. You'll see at the website. And then if you ever wanted to make your own, again, you could just hit us up through the website and say, hey, I have an idea. That's all you gotta say. I want to hear it. Yeah, absolutely. And that's PinkLighthouse.com is the website for their products. And you can drop us an email.
PinkLighthouse.com. I think I put Pink White House on this.
Instead of peak?
Well, I'll fix it. You did. Oh, sorry about that.
And if you put in the code Veedverks, it'll actually give you 50% off through the end of the month.
I'll fix that immediately.
Awesome.
So give you a chance to try something that you may not have wanted to try, or you wanted to try and just don't want to put the investment towards. Well, here might be a chance to actually try something and get an idea if something's going to work for you. Even if you don't like the scent eventually and you want to go to someone else's product, again, I don't mind that. I want to support the industry. Again, our biggest proponent of our company is our private and white label business, is making sure that other individuals who have ideas about this can see if their ideas can come true. So it's fun doing it too.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
This has been fascinating. I hope we can talk you into doing it again.
Yeah, I think I will. It'll be a lot of fun. So.
Told you would have a good time.
You know so much stuff. How do people get a hold of you? Or do you want to be a secret?
Actually, just PinkLighthouse.com is the easiest. Leave it simple so they can actually go right through there. They can reach E2 Enterprises through PinkLighthouse.com. That's the easiest way to go. Due to the proprietary nature of what we do not have a website. We do advertise our white label and private label businesses because the individuals we do work with, we have a family relationship with those individuals, and if you choose to come with us too, we will do the same with you. All of your information is kept private. We do not do tours in our lab ever. No information that is ever given out, and people can't see what goes on in our facility.
So black box.
Absolutely. You know that no matter what, that your information is secured, and what you have as a brand and what you want as a brand can come to fruition without any interference from someone else.
Cool.
So.
Outstanding. Thank you, Julie, for
so
bringing this outstanding gentleman on and for setting everything up all the time. You do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm going to go correct some titles in the in what I put out there. I guess I'm getting a little hard of hearing. But, yeah, anyway, fantastic show.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
We'll see you guys on Thursday. We have Be Good on still, right?
Yes.
Be Good, 1:30 Mountain Time this Thursday.
Mm-hmm. And we have some fun stuff to announce, and so with them and new things that we're going to be doing, so make sure you watch on Thursday.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you. And
Bye, everybody.
As always, I'm Travis Lippert reminding you, if you don't get hemp here, get hemp somewhere.